Basically, we allow our service provider to define the pricing. I want to offer these skills about teaching people how to create a PowerPoint, and I want to name it for like a 10,000 yen per hour. And it's really up to our seller to define the price.
I see.
Eventually, we'll use AI to predict about the range of the price. Human beings have the multiple skills when they were born. The human being can really work on their own, live in the place that we want to live. So it can work from any time, anywhere, at the place that we want to work.
And share their skills.
And share the best skill you have.
Okay.
Imagine about like making a set of like ramen in Japan. It's probably even your ramen masters.
Yeah.
And how many people in Japan want to learn how to cook ramen? Versus if you look outside, and the pie probably will become 100 times bigger. So that's why the skill owners shouldn't just think about how can I provide the skills in Japan only. Well, I think eventually we're turning the face to global. Our skills in Japan is actually very popular and it's very undersupplied outside of Japan, and it pays so much higher. And why not I can work smarter and provide my service for outside so that I can help me earn more.
So Eric Wei-san, welcome to Pivot.
Thanks for having me here.
So you're CEO and founder of Dimes, and you run timelyhero. Could you explain what timelyhero is?
Right.
Yeah.
So the timelyhero is a concept about everyone could be the hero for someone else in the world. So we're collecting all the best assets in terms of knowledges from all over the world, and leverage AI technologies to compile that knowledges for the people from all over the world to be able to learn the languages and skill up.
Interesting. I'll show the screen for our audience, and I can see a lot of online lessons or people sharing skills. So people are like sharing coaching skills, business skills, negotiation skills, skills for ikigai. So this is a concept. So people are sharing their skills for like a short time.
That's right. So our majority focus was bringing on to the sellers mostly from the GAFA, most of the big companies or ex-CEO of the big companies, and to share the best know-how they have. And mostly the reason why that was online is because that's removed the physical distance.
Yes.
Right. And so you can do those knowledge sharing no matter where you are, and whenever you are. So the most of the service we have was online.
So what kind of skills are they sharing, and who are these people?
Yeah. So that's a good question. So the skill, currently we are fully focused on the business skill, especially the soft skill parts.
Yeah.
So, how to define the hard skill and soft skill is, hard skills mostly is how do you write a code as a programmer?
Yeah.
How do you fix the engine, as the technician, right? And so the soft skill part is more focused on how can we, foster the leadership, or how can we improve intercultural communications, how to build the DEI working environments, how to move fast, fail fast, and learn fast, right? And those kind of soft skill is our main focus of the services on our platform.
I see. So this is based in Japan, but you're expanding globally.
That's right.
Yeah.
So our company are registered and based in Japan, but our concept was kind of doing the global business from day one.
So why in Japan? Because you can start your business in like United States or other parts of the world. Why did you start your company in Japan?
Right. First, I like Japan.
Okay.
Simple
answer.
Yeah. And of course, it's because what I feel with my 20 years living experience in Japan, I found it out that most people are really, really smart, have their skills, and know what they're doing. But they're very sort of like suffering from not being able to use international languages to talk with others. That's why, when you talk with the people in US or in Europe, and because if you cannot fully utilize your English skills, so that's why like some people would feel about probably you don't know about the details. But in fact, if you be able to apply those kind of language, kind of systems or services for them to get rid of those kind of language barriers, actually they can show the best skills is in front of the world. I feel about in Japan, there are a lot of hidden gems.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
Yes.
So what do you call teachers or coaches, or what do you call these people who are sharing skills?
Right, I call them heroes.
Heroes.
Actually.
Okay, heroes. So heroes are not only Japanese. How many heroes are Japanese or people living in Japan?
Right now, most of we see about more than 80% of our heroes as service providers are registered outside of Japan.
Outside of Japan.
Yes, and 20% are from Japan.
So there are people not only in Japan but outside Japan sharing skills. But are there any similar services or companies that doing the same thing?
Right now, we
Yeah.
don't see there's any other platform was doing the similar things. We are more focused on. You can think about we're focused on interactive learning. So it's not just about like pre-recorded video contents. People go there reading for like 24 hours, and so we are focused on the interactive learning.
So it's live
It's
coaching.
live sessions,
Okay,
right?
it's
It could
not
be
just a
one-on-one.
video. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And it could be a group session as well, seminar as well, but it's live, so you can take live questions. And so, and the best of that is because the real-time translations feature was there in place to help for example, you're Japanese, so you're talking with Americans, but you'll be able to use your native languages.
Oh, wow. So you can speak in Japanese, but the user might be from the United States.
Yeah.
But there's like simultaneous translation.
Exactly. So that's how it works. So that's our visions about like you can use your native languages to get access to the best knowledge from the world. So we don't see these kind of some concepts available in other platforms that easy.
That's why you said there are hidden gems in Japan, because I'm a Japanese, I'm a journalist in Japan, and I know a lot of people have unique skills, but because of the language barrier, they're not able to expand or share their skills to the world, but you're solving that problem.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes, and so like in Japan, like all kind of areas like food, you have the ramen masters.
Ramen, oh, there's a ramen master
they
here?
have the chef, and they have the
okay.
they have the people who are teaching about the ikigai, right? It's very unique for Japan,
Yes.
and also people are teaching about what is the kaizen,
Kaizen,
improvement,
yeah.
improvement,
And ikigai is kind of happiness in life?
happiness in
fulfillment,
life,
yeah.
to basically figure out like what you really want to do, and what you're really good at.
Yes.
Right, and what can create values. Right, or combine that with how we define the right things to do instead of going with the flow. Right, in Japan sometimes it's easy to read atmosphere, like kuki yomu.
Yeah.
Right, and so like what others are doing, you want to do the same thing as others. But it's also important to figure out what is your ikigai. So we want to help people to understand about how do they set up their career goals and what they're aiming to be, and we working backward help to fill the gaps about how to get there.
Wow. Do you disclose your user number, or how many people are using your service right now?
Right. So right now, like we have seen about very phenomenal growth, and versus last year, we've seen a 10x more
10x?
user number. Yes.
Wow.
More numbers versus our first year of release the services. Yes. And so, and we've seen about especially there are more and more demand size coming from Japan. They were first looking about last year was sort about like what is this? It's so new and probably it's not a thing for me. But this year is more about like well, there's my friends using that and they recommend me to use the services. So there's more and more engagements from Japan side to engage with U.S. services.
I see. When you say demands in Japan, do you mean people want to be heroes or who want to be taught by heroes? Which side?
Yeah, so demand side will be the people who want to learn.
Okay.
So it's learners side, and so or we said about buying side, right? And so who pay to get the skills, right? And so yeah, we've seen about more and more people will feel the demand about learning things. Well, I think in basic, actually, I feel about in Japan is a country who would really love to get the certifications.
Yes.
Right, and they don't know about whether they would need it or not, but they love to collect the certifications.
Yes.
right.
Right.
And so we're playing this by providing this kind of batch certification.
I see.
For the users, and so they feel about they want to collect to be a better self than tomorrow.
I see.
Right, and so that will kind of click in the places.
So the learners can like learn about ikigai or like I don't know PowerPoint. They have a badge that says that I'm the master of ikigai or something.
That's
and
right.
They can collect that badges.
That's right.
Okay.
You're a master of the Scrum, or you're a master of the Agile mindset.
Interesting.
You're a master of the global leaderships, right? Those kind of things kind of help people to recognize their skills, right? So what we really want to do is really help people to identify their, kind of potential, right? And you don't know the thing you don't know. So we want to be ahead of you to show you about what you can be, right? A better self. And so that's why we're trying to use this gamification badges to incentivize users to more engage with our services.
So a lot of audience of this video is outside Japan, and I believe they are interested in Japan, like tourists, or some might want to work in Japan. What kind of content will be popular outside Japan, like international users, learners?
Right. So international users, we found out like the Scrum or like the Six Sigma, Lean are quite popular outside of Japan. So those kind of techniques are actually originally coming from Toyota, factories.
Yeah.
Right? They have the kanban
Yes.
and they have the kaizen.
Yeah. Explain kanban to the audience. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So the kanban is basically, you can see it, but there's boards, in the factories, and they will show about the current status.
Yes.
Right. And when there's some problem going on, that will come on become red. When it becomes red signal, you have to stop the pipeline. Right. And people know about these problems, and so you don't produce the bad elements in your next
So it's like
stages.
a dashboard.
It's a dashboard
Yeah.
in the ground, so people know about where we are and are we doing good or not, how much we are producing, and whether there's any problem or not. So that was called kanban. So it's a board.
Yeah.
In the ground.
Like
so,
a real physical board, not like
physical.
an online dashboard. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And the concept would be there is always no perfect states, in an operation. Every day you can find somewhere you have a waste, right? And how to find it out, and how do you improve day by day, right? And how did I improve the operational excellence? So this doesn't only help for the car industries; they can apply for all other industries as well.
I see.
Right? And there's a lot of muda, right? There's a waste everywhere. And how can you really find out where they are? How can you improve? And not just about the yourself, and as well as your team. The whole entire organizations can do the teamwork to find out the unnecessary parts and remove it and make sure it's getting better the next day. So those kind of concepts was pretty popular outside of Japan.
That would be cool. That if a former Toyota employee can share his or her kaizen or kanban skills, that would be really great. Yeah.
Yes, I really believe so.
So how much does it cost? So I'm showing you the screen. You can click anything. Let's say you click this, creating passive income through digital products. Do you pay directly, or is it a subscription model?
So right now is basically we allow our service provider to define the pricing. About I want to offer this skills about teaching people how to create PowerPoints.
Yeah.
And I want to name it for like 10,000 yen per hour. And it's really up to our seller to define the price.
I see.
And eventually we'll use AI to predict about the range of the price.
Interesting.
That mostly be transact ads, and to provide this as reference data for the sellers to set up their prices in the right places. And right now you can see some of the services here, even they provide that for free. So you can think about the reasons for that is, imagine about Airbnb at the early stages. And who is going to stay at the foreign people's rooms and with no ratings and no comments, right? And so right now we are at the stage to encourage the sellers to offer the trial.
I see. To get used to talking to a stranger and learning from a stranger.
Learning from strangers. Also figure out about how can you collect more ratings and comments, right? And help you improve your stages before you set up the high pricing.
I see.
Right, and so we help people to get confidence and get used to how to use this kind of mechanisms.
That's interesting.
An extra income.
How can you see the ratings, for example? You click on her name?
Yeah, you click on her names, and basically if she have the ratings, you will have to show up next to, under her photos.
Got it. So maybe she can provide her service for free and improve her ratings, and if it gets high rating, she'll get trust, and she can charge.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I think that there's a similar for the cultural things in Japan as well. Remember when you look for the restaurants and you want to find a booking, probably you would check Taberoku.
Yes, which is like Yelp in Japan. Yeah.
It's like Yelp in Japan, right? And so what people would say about, I want to find a restaurant that's greater than 3.5 stars. Right?
It's a good number. 3.5.
It's become like a hidden rules in Japan, right?
Yeah, 3.5 is pretty good. Yes.
Yeah. So out of 5 stars, for some reason, what people believe in more than 3.5 stars means that it's fairly good option, safer options, right? So people make the booking.
Yeah.
Right. And similar for that, we believe in our service as well, right? And how can we really help our service providers to collect the stars and the ratings to help them get a trust from the people who don't know them. Right, and so eventually, the more the ratings and reviews you have, that will help to earn the trust from others, and will help to increase your attractions and revenues for your extra income. So
interesting. So this looks like a very interesting service. So what is your mission? What do you want to accomplish?
Yeah. So my mission is one thing. What I believe, human beings have the multiple skills when they were born, right? And so. We really hope the human being can really work on their own and live in the place that we want to live. So can work from any time, anywhere, at the place that we want to work.
And share their skills.
And share the best skill you have.
Okay.
Right. And today's world, what I believe is in the other way side is all the companies that create a job description. They hire the people,
Yeah.
and like it or not, we are hiring the marketing managers, but you may have the other skills not outside the marketing, right? So maybe I speak 3 languages, maybe I have the knowledge of how to do the GTM, right? Maybe I have the knowledge of how to cook Japanese food, for example, have some hidden skills. But if I work for these companies, all I need is the marketing skills.
You don't have the chance to show off your ramen skills.
Exactly.
Right.
And then what I mean is like the vestibular skills, right? So what I'm thinking about, like, it's good to work as a marketing managers, but how can you not just working longer, but working smarter?
I see.
That's one of the things, like remove the unnecessary overtime, right? And can you provide your weekday evening or weekend mornings, and to offer the best skill you have, and find the people who need the skills from all over the world, right? Help you to get extra incomes and to be more productive and a more smarter way of the, of making your income.
That makes a lot of sense because in Japan, in particular, there is a concept, not a concept, but a word called fukugyo, which is like having a second job, kind of. So people are promoting fukugyo, having second jobs, but not many people are starting their fukugyo or second jobs. Even the government is promoting fukugyo, but why is that, and how can you solve that?
Yes, and so that's a very, very good point about, well, in the past, 10 years ago, people almost not doing the fukugyo, right? And it feel about like you're betraying your current employer.
Yeah, in Japan, it's like...
Japan, it's like that, right?
You're a trader or something.
Yeah, it feel that why you work on some other projects, why, right? You get challenges.
You should be loyal to one company.
If you're loyal to one company, if you have time, why not working overtime and to make us better?
Yes, right? That's very Japanese.
Why do you leave the office at 6, right? So that's the very less kind of pressures of that.
Okay.
And what I feel about this has been changing over the past 3 years. What I noticed is about like, people are, especially the younger generation, they don't want to stay in the office for no reason, right? And so that's why. And what I feel about like, there's also the government's regulation kind of help as well, is because government is giving out very positive message about to the companies about you should allow your employees to do the side projects.
Yes.
Right? And if you don't allow your employees to do the side projects, you have to code it out on your website. So it's a very strong message from Japanese government, right? So because I think Japan is facing a problem, but everybody knows about that is the shortage of the labor.
Yes.
Right? And ahead of us. And because of the way not having enough babies and kids, and so that's why not going to be solved anytime soon.
Right.
So what I mean is every working professional counts. What I mean is they have to be more productive. Right, and so that's why, like, I think the fukugyo is necessary in the places in the next 5 to 10 years. It's gonna be blooming. Like, what more people about, they will not ask about why are you doing the fukugyo or side projects. People will ask about what do you do in your side projects.
That's like a normal conversation.
It's a normal conversation about I did A, B, and C. I met with the clients in this weekends, and I feel about this will be the future conversation. I was just not far ahead of us.
So the government's promoting fukugyo side jobs. We need it, but I kind of looked at some statistics, and there's like only 10% are doing fukugyo, depending on the statistics. But why is that? Why is not booming yet?
Right. Well, I think one of the reasons also because of the language barrier. Right, and because there are a lot of the companies outside of Japan, they want to enter Japan. So they actually require a lot of knowledge from the local Japanese talents. But because of the lacking of the language skills, they will not be able to offer their side project for outside of Japan.
True.
You know about how much the Japanese yen today, right? Is roughly $1 to almost 160 yen.
It's very weak yen.
It's very weak, right? And what it means is if you're working professionals, if you have the choices, why not just choose to do the side project for the foreign?
That's an interesting point. Yeah, instead of selling your skills or providing skills like a ramen skills to local Japanese, you can teach people in the United States and earn dollars, which will be into yen. It's 160 yen, and that can create a difference in your life.
Right. Yeah. So there are, like you say, there are a lot of knowledges that in Japan is kind of atarimae. Of course, everybody knows about that.
Yeah, it's not you don't get paid for these skills. But,
right. And imagine about like making a set of like ramen in Japan. It's probably even your ramen masters. And how many people in Japan want to learn how to cook ramen, right? And versus if you look outside, and the pie probably will become 100 times bigger, right? And so, so that's why the skill owners shouldn't just think about how can I provide the skills in Japan only. Well, I think eventually they would turn their faces to global about like, oh, our skills in Japan is actually very popular and is very undersupply outside of Japan, and they pay so much higher.
I see.
And when I can work smarter and provide my service for outside so that I can help me earn more with the less time.
Interesting. Let's quickly talk about Eric yourself. You before founding your company, you worked at Amazon, Google, and Didi, which is like a Chinese rideshare company, and also Food Panda, which is a food delivery service. Could you quickly elaborate on your journey, starting from Amazon? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I was coming from Taiwan, and which is the very energetic countries where people know about like the semiconductors and ITs, and used to be OEM countries for a lot of the boom manufacturing companies. And right now it's known about the semiconductors. So people really like the IT stuff.
90% of global IT chips are located in Taiwan. So
that's correct.
Yes.
Yes, and so we come in from the countries, and 20 years ago, so when I was kind of landing in Japan, so I was looking for the job, but I was actually facing the language barriers when I landed, right? And so when looking for a job, apply for different companies. But I was asked about, like, you have to be able to speak native Japanese before you can work here.
Okay.
And it's a very high bar for international people.
That's almost impossible.
Right? And, for outside, it's almost impossible to speak native Japanese, right? I mean, I have to learn about 20 years, 30 years before I can get to that stages. And so that's one. I think that's the first language barrier I met over there. And so I was learning e-commerce and supply chain in the school. And I was lucky to get an offer from Amazon, which doesn't require a lot of Japanese when I joined the companies. I can only speak English and be able to work there. So over that journey, is basically I spent 10 years at Amazon, where basically helped Amazon do the category expansions, from online bookstores to media to softline, hotline to become everything in stores, as well as the global expansion.
Yeah.
Right. And so help them to expand to China. I was there for 2 years to set up business there. And also one thing related to my current business is a knowledge publishing business.
I see.
So I was launching the Kindle business in Japan.
Oh, you were launching Kindle in Japan.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
I'm the one to bring the Kindle over here. And we faced a lot of challenges with the traditional publishers as well, right? Because we were use the digital transformation to change how people do the publishing business,
right?
Right, and so that's a new way about in the past people really talk to the editors and the publishers to get their books published.
Yes,
and with the Kindle, they enable new possibilities about the self-publishing. Right. So the author with the knowledge will be able to publish their books digitally. And with they can do the marketing by themselves, and they'll be able to get their readers, and also.
So it's like similar to Timely Hero. Anyone can be a hero or an author or a book writer.
And so this kind of DNA about what I came out with the Tiny Hero about, and the new way about how people have the knowledge, nonfiction, business skills, and I want to publish this instead of just the books. Can I be more interactive way of deliver my knowledge outside of the.
So it's like self-publishing your knowledge, Timely Hero.
That's right. That's right.
Interesting.
Yeah, and not in a book format, but in more interactive format, more customizable.
Got it.
Format.
So after Amazon, you went to Google. What did you do in Google?
Yeah, so I was looking for more challenges in the next roles, and so I was in charge of the Asia Pacific for Google Play entertainment business. So that includes the movies and TV shows and books and audiobooks businesses. Yeah, so as the product marketing roles, basically we have to figure out the right products in the right country. So I was in charge of Japan, Korea, Hong Kong, Taiwan, India, Indonesia. Every country are so different.
Yeah.
The contents that are popular in this country A is not popular in country B. So my roles and my team's role really figure out what is the right contents at the right places for the right users. So they also will explain about my content distribution in the Tiny Hero as well.
It's all connecting.
It's all connected, right? And to find the right content for the right users, right? So on Tiny Heroes, we because people only have the limited 24 hours time to share their knowledges, so that's why we also support the pre-recorded video contents right, for the service providers. So they can provide us with contents. We leverage AI to internationalize and localize the contents to make sure the content can be sold globally. So that's also coming from the knowledge of what we have in Google about the content distributions. When we selling certain movies, when there is, for example, something that's more related to the politics or some LGBT topic, something, and we probably would feel about like, oh, maybe this is not quite a right thing to promote in a country, for example, Japan. But maybe the country like another country would probably be very interested about that, right? So similar things. We really need. I think about the content distribution is not one for all. You would really need to do the customizations per country.
Per country, okay.
And bring the right content for the people who need it.
What was your experience like in Didi, like a Chinese rideshare company?
Right. Yeah. So then the next will be sort of what I figured out. There are a lot of the less efficiency in terms of the taxi businesses. Well, in the past, people you can note about even still today happens as well. Taxi drivers drive the taxis, empty cars everywhere on the streets because they need to do that.
Yes.
They have to do that to find the potential users, right? The passengers who probably will raise their hands and say about I need a taxi, right? And but by doing that, it's very inefficient because you are wasting the gasoline.
It's like depending on pure luck. Finding customers.
Exactly. You don't have big data. You do, right? And you yourself, you're creating the traffic on the street, right? And so what we do is really we are not just providing an app. We're providing big data for the taxi company to run the business more efficiently, right? We tell the taxis, based on the demand forecasting big data about where to go. And 5 minutes after, if you go to Shibuya, you'll be able to find the 3 users will raise the demand. And they need taxis. And so that's why we believe you should go there to grab a demand. Okay. So it's a more efficient way, and I think that will connect to the tiny concept is about the time management.
Got it.
How can you utilize your time? Everybody only have 24 hours. And how can you fill that your times more efficiently and more productive, right? In the past, before a taxi have for example, the ride-hailing service like Didi, maybe their utilization rates for passengers sitting in the taxis are less than 40%.
Yeah.
And so the goal for the company for like Didi and even for the Uber as well is how can we help them to increase from 40% to 60% to even for 70% above.
Okay.
Right. And so this is really about how the unit economics, about how can you make it work with less time, with more orders, with less efforts. Right. And so that's kind of the way that the things what I usually in the past what I learned about how I did in the Didi business.
And everything connected, Google, Amazon, Didi, everything connected. So then you started timelyhero. So what was the biggest challenge starting your business in Japan?
Yeah, so the biggest challenge what I first have is, I think, of course, is about how can you get your concept understood by the market, especially if we're working on the blue ocean products. Like people don't have the competitors about like I'm this service or something, right? So sometimes it's hard to explain. Today, what usually we'll explain about we're Amazon, but we're not selling books and desks.
That's
and chairs.
A good explanation.
We are selling all skills in the world, right? But we started from the first business skills, but we eventually we're gonna expand to every skills in the world. Right, and so that's basically the way we explain to the market. But before people seeing that, people cannot imagine about what it is. So the biggest challenge is how can you really explain your products easily and help them understand well. Yeah, so that's kind of the biggest challenge what I face is the first year we have to introduce about the products, and people need time to digest and learn about how can they really get a benefit out of it.
Got it. Okay, Eric, we need to wrap up. So any final comments in your future dreams, future ambitions? What do you want to accomplish?
Right. Yeah. The future dream is after working 20 years in Japan, I really want to give it back for the corporates and the companies in Japan to help them to connect globally.
I see.
With a global mindset.
Do you think right now is the right timing for Japan to expand globally?
It's a perfect timing.
Perfect timing.
Right. And so you don't have better time than now, right? So right now, because we have the lacking of the international talents, we need to bring international talents, and because Japan is yen situation, so it's easier to kind of sell the product outside rather than just focus on local domestic markets.
True.
So for that, what I believe, or what I really want to do is really to sit down and work with the corporate in Japan to really identify what is the lacking in their organizations, what is needed, right? And how can we foster the female leadership? How can we build the DEI inclusion working environments? How can really help to improve the teamwork and communications for Japanese people to work with the international talents, in the same team. So I feel about there are quite a lot of gaps still in the places. But I really love Japan. I really feel about Japanese companies have very good services, have very good talents working so hard for the companies.
Yes.
But they're as long as we can give them the right knowledge and guide them through, I really feel about they have big potentials about for Japan to really address the global markets and really become great again. So this kind of really is about my dreams about how can we really make it happen and support one by one and to help that skill.
Wow, in Japan, everyone should be like a hero, like a coach, or like start their fukugyo using your service. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So everyone should be the specialist of something.
And sell your skills internationally.
Yeah, exactly. And
okay, thank you, Eric-san. I really enjoyed your conversation.
Thank you. I appreciate it for your time. And thank you for having me here.